Hari Om. Starting with invocation, let us chant from verses 41 to 45 of Atma Bodha. Om Pratah Smarami Hridi Samspuradatma Tattvam Satchit Sukham Paramaham Sagatim Turiyam Yasvapna Jagara Sushuptamaveti Nityam Tad Brahma Nishkalamaham Nacha Bhuta Sangaha Nyatra Jnana Gneya Bhedaha Parenatmani Vidhyate Chidanandaikaropatvat Dipyate Swayamevahi Evamatmaranau dhyana Mathane Satatam Krite Uditavagate Jvala Sarvajnanendhanam Dahet Arune Neva Bodhena Purvam Santamase Hrite Tatha Avirbhavedatma Swayamevamshomaniva Atma tu satatam praptaha Yapraptavada vidhyaya Tannashe praptavadbhati Swakantha bharanam yatha Sthanau purushavad bhrantya Krita brahmani jivata Jivasya tatvike rupe Tasmin drishte nivartate
Pratasmarami hridi samspuradatmatattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam Yat swapna jagara sushuptamaveti nityam Tad brahma nishkalamaham nacha bhuta sangaha. We continue from verse number 45 onwards. Verse number 45.
Sthanau purushavad bhrantya Krita brahmani jivata Jivasya tatvike rupe Tasmin drishte nivartate Sthanau purushavad bhrantya Krita brahmani jivata Jivasya tatvike rupe Tasmin drishte nivartate.
And individuality is superimposed on Brahman on account of delusion, as a human form is projected on a post. The individuality disappears when its inherent nature is realized. and individuality is superimposed on Brahman on account of delusion as a human form is projected on a post. The individuality disappears when its inherent nature is realized. As long as a post is misunderstood, sthanau. Sthanau means a post. The post is misunderstood as a human being because of Bhranti. The Sanskrit word he uses is Bhranti. Bhranti comes from the word Brahma, means delusion, imagination. Tamil kuda we say, no? Brahma purcha madri irukudhe, they say, no? Means what? The fellow is, it's Bhrantya. Bhrantya comes from the root word Brahma. Brahma means a misapprehension. Seeing that which isn't there is Brahma. In psychology, they call as hearing voices, no? They say hearing voices, seeing things. Shankaracharya says all of us belong to that category only. It's not only that few belongs to that category, the whole lot of humanity belongs to that category only. Why? Because all of us are in Bhranti. All human beings are going through this Brahma. What is that Brahma? The Brahma is that which is not there is seen. That which is there is not seen. That is Brahma. That which is not there is seen. இல்லாததை இருக்கிற மாதிரி பார்க்கிறது. That which is not there is seen. இருக்கிறது கண்ணுக்கு தெரியாது. That which is there is not seen. This is Brahma. Sthanau Purushavad Bhrantya. Just as an individual, just as a human form is projected on a post. Sthanau means the trunk of a tree. What literally means is the trunk of the tree. Sometimes, they trim the tree. They take off some branches, they keep some, they trim and all that. In the night, if you see, it looks like a person is standing with hands stretched out and the twigs moving as though the person's finger is moving and saying, as though the person is calling you, come to me, and the person gets scared. On closer examination, what is understood? On closer examination, it is understood as sthanau. Sthanau means the post. The previous verse and all that gave a different indication. See, the previous verse and the previous couple of two verses gave the indication that the sunlight is not present at one period of time and it comes at another period of time. There was a time where there is no sunlight, and then there is that time where sunlight happens. So it looks like there is a period of time where there is ignorance that is present, and through some effort that ignorance is conquered, that ignorance is overpowered. All the spiritual sadhanas gives this misunderstanding. All the spiritual sadhanas gives rise to this misunderstanding. What is a misunderstanding? There is ignorance and you have to do some. There is ignorance and you have to do some work to overpower ignorance. There is ignorance first, and then you have to do something to overpower that ignorance, and then it is praptihi, attained. Self-realization is attained. From the beginning, Vedanta doesn't agree to that notion at all. From the beginning, it reinforces the idea. What is that idea that it reinforces? If the student asks this question, is sadhana necessary? Is spiritual practices necessary? The teacher says, yes, it is necessary. And then if you ask the student, is it necessary? He says, no. Attainment implies two things. Carefully follow. Attainment implies time and space. You are not at one place, you are going to another place. Attainment means time. Attainment implies time. Attainment implies space. That is why you cannot ask, when will I attain enlightenment? When will I attain enlightenment implies what? There is a time factor involved. When will I attain enlightenment? How will I attain enlightenment? If you ask this question, how will I attain enlightenment? You are asking a cause and effect relationship. So when you ask, when will I attain? You are bringing in time. When you are asking, how will I attain? You are bringing in cause and effect. Where will I be? You are talking about a space. That is why you will go to Vaikunta, you will go to Shivaloka, you will go to heaven. Is a space, is a place where you can, from where you are now, you can travel to that. All that looks very appealing. And we also accept that, yes, there is a space I can travel. And once I go there, I will be free, permanent, and all that. Vedanta, from the beginning, Vedanta says, it is not so, it is not so, it is not so. Why it is not so? Because the difference between you and Brahman, the difference between you and self-realization is not the time, space, cause and effect, distance. Sir, Bhagavad Gita is very easy, sir. Atma Bodha, you are making it more complicated. Bhagavad Gita seems more simpler. And Upanishad is the simplest, sir. Adalala, you don't, all these complications doesn't come at all. It's so simple and straightforward. And you say Atma Bodha is an introductory textbook, and we give so much of these things in the introductory textbook. This looks like a PhD book, no? And he says this is an introductory textbook. Huh? Again, I repeat. What is the distance between, what is the gap between you and enlightenment? The gap is not one that can be conquered by time-space causation. It's not that I do sadhanas for hundreds of janmas, I can conquer it by time factor, nor by cause and effect, nor by anything. What is the gap? Superimposition is the gap. That's how the star now example is beautiful. What is the gap? Superimposition is the gap. What is it that is blocking you from moksha? What is it that is blocking you from the right knowledge? superimposition. And that superimposition is a very thin, subtle layer. That superimposition is a very thin, subtle layer. That is why the post, the human being didn't turn into a post. What is the difference between the post and the human being? In the example, Sthano Purushavad Brantya. Sthano Purushavad Brantya. What is the distance between the human being and the post? What is the distance? What is it that is? What is it that is covering? A very simple, straightforward thing called superimposition. And that superimposition is removed through, that superimposition is removed by knowledge. And by knowledge, a closer observation. When a person has the courage, he can see the post, he can see the post as a human form. Actually, what it means is Purushaha here is the ghost. The people see it as a ghost and they run away. If you have the thing to observe it closely and not run away, instead of running away, if you stand there and observe it closely, you understand that it is Bhranti. You understand that it is Bhranti. Bhranti means superimposition. And what is a superimposition? When we did that rope and snake, we did that elaborate analysis. When we did that rope and snake, we did that elaborate analysis. For all superimposition, the analysis remains the same. Only the rope snake will change. It's not only for rope and snake. Wherever there is a superimposition, that analytical method. I'm not going into that. I'm not going into the detailed analysis again. I forgot, I think. So I don't even remember that. So whatever was blabbered in that class. The snake didn't turn into a rope. The snake never became the rope. The human being never becomes the post. What is it that is blocking? That which is blocking is called superimposition. And what is superimposition? I am the doer. I am the enjoyer. I am this jiva. I am this sharira. These are all the superimposition. For the I is there, the post is there, but the person sees a ghost. The I is there, but the I is misunderstood as, the I is there, but the I is misunderstood as doer, enjoyer, attainer, loser, winner. All this that you attribute to the I is called superimposition. All that you attribute to the I is called superimposition. The doer is the instruments, I is the enlivener. since the instruments are the doer, it has to experience. That's why the instruments at one point of time is the doer. The instruments at another point of time is the enjoyer of the consequences of the doing, experiencing the consequences of the doing. Therefore, the human being is hyphenated doer, enjoyer. Who is a human being? A human being is the personality of doer, enjoyer. The Sanskrit word is karta bhokta. Bhokta, literally in English, it has to be translated as enjoyer. But what it actually means is doer, experiencer. Doer, experiencer. Doer and experiencer. You can't say doer and experiencer. Doer, experiencer together. Experiencer of what? Experiences the consequences of the doing. So, the doer experiences, and that experiencer feeds the doer. The doer feeds the experiencer feeds the doer. Now, what is the superimposition? When you attribute the I to that, that is superimposition. Carefully follow. The doer experiencer is not the superimposition. You take the and you project the superimposition, you project the doer experiencer on the I is superimposition. Just as the post there is not a superimposition. The post there is not the superimposition. What is the superimposition? The ghost is the superimposition. The human being is the superimposition. Bhranti, superimposition. When you gain the right knowledge, Jivasya Tatvike Rupe, when the individuality, when the Jiva's real nature is understood, when the Jiva's real nature is, understood, what happens? Transformation doesn't happen. Carefully follow. Transformation doesn't happen. Superimposition goes away. That is why we say, Vedanta says there is no spiritual transformation. For no transformation happens here. The snake doesn't transform into the rope. The Jiva doesn't transform into Brahman. That possibility doesn't exist at all. All this happens because of the adhyasa, the superimposition. And the superimposition is what the ignorance is. Vedanta removes that superimposition. Now don't ask that elementary question. What caused the superimposition? Don't ask that question. Yeah. Don't ask that, you should not ask that LKG question again and again and again. Yeah. What caused the superimposition? What caused? We have seen that any number of times. That is beyond the, because the dreamer cannot ask this question, what caused? What caused the dream? He cannot ask. He can ask the question, but the answer cannot, he doesn't have an instrument to understand the answer. Therefore, Vedanta says, don't ask that question. Understand that it is a superimposition. Follow the methodology. What you will realize, just as the human form goes away and the post is realized, the individuality disappears when the inherent nature is realized. Two important things that has to be understood. One is the inherent nature. The second thing is superimposition. Two. These are these are all the crux of the philosophy. One is the inherent nature. Another is the superimposition. The benefit of jnana. This is the benefit of gaining this. This is the benefit of gaining this knowledge. For all practical purposes, what is it? It is not attainment of anything. It is not achievement of anything. It is a recognition. It is a recognition. One valid question that you may ask is, why is it repeated so many times again and again and again? Why is it repeated so many times again and again and again? Knowledge can be gained only by repetition. Knowledge is gained by repetition. Repetition doesn't mean brainwashing or hypnotizing. Carefully follow the difference. Repetition doesn't mean hypnotizing. Repetition doesn't mean brainwashing. That which you understood has to be repeated again and again and again. Why? Why it has to be repeated again and again and again? Because the tendency is to forget. The tendency is to forget. And what makes you forget? What makes you forget? The perceptions, the emotions and thoughts. Any perception, emotion and thought you associate with, you forget. That is why the awareness of Brahman comes in the class. The awareness of Brahman also disappears after the class. Om invocatory prayer, Prata Smarami, invocatory prayer ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது we wake up. And then we say we'll continue next week. No one we close. That is why it has to be repeated again and again and again. Why? Because the methodology of teaching is by repetition. In the kindergarten, the child understands 2 plus 2 equals 4. The child understands 2 plus 2 equals 4. You give the exam, the child answers 2 plus 2 equals 4 and it gets full marks also. 2 months of summer break, 2 months of holidays, and when it comes back and when the teacher asks what is 2 plus 2, the child goes blank. You can't ask the child, you understood? No. You understood? No. That is why in those days, in those days, you will be given holiday homework. No. You will be given what is known as holiday homework. And invariably, what is given in that holiday homework, if you remember? What is given in that holiday homework? Mathematic tables. You remember? I remember it because I used to do it. I used to sit and do mathematic tables. In the school, you have to study the mathematics tables. Holiday homework is also mathematics tables. You go back to the next class, again, the same mathematics tables. Why so much of repetition? Why so much of repetition? If that much is not repeated, you will not, the knowledge doesn't. If that much is not repeated, knowledge doesn't get digested at all. That is why we have to keep repeating superimposition, inherent nature, superimposition, inherent nature. And then we say, why don't you say new things, sir? Why are you repeating the same thing? Yeah, new tables லாம் கொடுக்க முடியாது. It's the same mathematics tables is what has to be given again and again and again. But we are all grown-ups, no, sir. We are all, we are all wise, no. We are all grown-ups, no. Why can't we? Why do we have to? Why is Vedanta using the kindergarten teaching method on us also? Balaha, children. Krishna says, Balaha, children. You are all children. We are all children, and therefore the methodology of teaching will be like children. But sir, Shankar will say, I am an expert in marketing. Ganesh will say, I am an expert in putting up buildings. Subramaniam will say, you don't know about my background, sir. I am a chartered accountant. I have 45 years of experience in chartered accountancy. How many companies I am running? Subramaniam, correct? Therefore, we are not children. Therefore, we are not children. Guru says, sir, in the Zoom la naan da ungalku solliye koduthathu, he will say. Yeah. Guru will say, we only did all this for you, and what do you? Yeah, Guru says, yeah. Because why I am saying that is, all of you are teachers, sir. That is why. And yet Krishna says, Balaha, children, Balaha, children, Balaha, children. Why? Repetition. That much of repetition has to be given. Why? When you come in contact with a perception, emotion, thought, what happens? What we associate the I with in the class, we do exactly the opposite outside the class. What we associate the I with in the class, you should be associating the I with outside the classroom also. Till that point happens, it will be repeated again and again and again. Some justification I have to give. No, why are we repeating it so much? Some justification has to be given. When whole life is transacted, when transactions of life happens in darkness, we enter into life in darkness, ignorance. Now I am from the pure Vedanta, now it is diluted Vedanta, and diluted Vedanta will be more appealing than the pure stuff. What is the diluted stuff now? The diluted stuff I am starting now. What is the diluted stuff? Anything that you associate in darkness, anything that you associate with out of ignorance, the association will be of, that association will hurt you, is the law. Any association that happens out of ignorance, that association will hurt you. The association with the world is hurting you because that association is out of ignorance. That association is out of ignorance. All transactions of life is, the whole transaction of life happens through darkness, ignorance. Isavasya Upanishad puts it very beautifully. Andam tamaha. Blinding, blinding darkness. Blinding, blinding darkness. You can't do transactions in darkness. You have to do transactions in light. You can't do transact. You need to know how to transact and not hurt yourself. That is the knowledge. Again, I repeat, you need to know how to transact and not hurt yourself. But otherwise, what, in every transaction there is a hurt. What is that hurt? Perceptions, emotions, and thoughts affecting you is the hurt. What is the hurt? The perceptions, the emotions, the thoughts hurt you. When you gain knowledge, what happens? It is properly lit. When it is properly lit, you know how to transact rightly. Vedantic knowledge lights up life literally. Vedantic knowledge lights up what life is all about. So clearly it lights up life. So you know how to navigate through it without hurting yourself. Without this knowledge, you are transacting in darkness. Without this knowledge, you are driving in pitch darkness without headlights. You are driving in pitch darkness without headlights. You really do not know whether you are driving on the road or you are driving in the field. Okay. You are driving on the road lane, the field, not that much damage. Imagine you fly over. Okay. You meet with accidents. You meet with accidents in life. What is the accidents that you meet up in life? What are the accidents that you meet up in life? What are the indications? The accidents. 5. 5 is the indication of accidents. In the 5 irundha accident avradunu artham. If you are experiencing these 5, you are in collision with something. What is that 5? Anybody? Correct. Very good. Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya. Yeah. How do you... The injuries are the indication that you are meeting up with an accident. No. You are driving and suddenly you go to deep sleep and wake up in the hospital bed. Yeah. You don't go to deep sleep. You become unconscious. And you are injured all over. The injury is an indication that you have met up with, that you have met with some accident. The injury are the indications that you are meeting up with accidents. And how do you avoid the injury? First, lighten it. First, lighten the road. But sir, road full of light illiye. Ramatirtha says, use the headlight. At least switch on the headlight. You can never light up the entire road, but you can use the headlight. One way is to wait for the entire road to be lit and then drive. Another is you can use the headlight. Okay. Headlight in one word. Intellect. Shankar, marketing. Marketing. The answer it comes like that. Even before the question is asked, the answer is ready. What is the headlight? Intellect is that headlight. You get into the car and you don't even know that you have a headlight that you have to use. That is ignorance. What is ignorance? What is ignorance? You don't even know that there is a thing called headlight and you have to switch it on, and if you make use of it, the entire journey is safe. That is the knowledge. The entire journey is safe. So when transactions happen in darkness, what is the transaction that is happening in darkness? What is the transaction that happens in darkness? Doer experiencer is different. The I is different. You need that much knowledge to see it very clearly that both are separate. Are you able to follow? That much of knowledge is required to see these two as separate. What are the two? The doer experiencer is different. The I is different. In ignorance, both looks so intertwined. Both looks one and the same. Sir, this doer enjoyer is not separate from I, sir. I is the figurative way of saying doer enjoyer is me. There is no I separate from this doer enjoyer. In darkness, you see both as one. Then the knowledge tells you. Knowledge lights it up. What does it light it up? What does the knowledge switch on? The knowledge switches on the light. What does the knowledge switches on? The kartrutva, bhoktrutva, the doer, enjoyer, experiencer. All this is separate. All this is separate. I is separate. And what is when we say separate means how far, how long, what is all that? That separation is a superimposition. That separation is a superimposition. The immediate benefit of gaining this knowledge is ajnana nivritti, removal of ignorance. The secondary benefit is consequential. What is consequential? You can do transactions without hurting yourself. The immediate benefit is ignorance goes. When ignorance goes, you will know how to transact and not hurt yourself. If not, what happens? As he says, the perceiver, feeler, thinker, is of the body, mind and intellect. And I am not the perceiver, I am not the feeler, I am not the thinker. The perceiver, feeler, thinker belongs to the body, mind, intellect. The perceiver belongs to the senses, body. The feeler belongs to the mind. The thinker belongs to the intellect. I am not the perceiver, I am not the feeler, I am not the thinker. Then who am I? Aham Brahmasmi. Then who am I? Aham Brahmasmi. But this fact that Aham Brahmasmi is so present even now, this is the catch. The Brahman is present even now. The superimposition is making us not. The superimposition is making us not see it, or we want to see it through the instruments. And most of the time, those who come in contact with knowledge make the second mistake. What is the second mistake? They try to see it through they want to know Aham Brahmasmi through the instruments. for which he say it cannot happen through the instruments. It cannot happen through the medium of the instruments. It has to happen through something else. And what is that something else? Knowledge. And what knowledge does? Knowledge removes it. Just as Sthanau Purushavat Brantya. Sthanau Purushavat Brantya. One substance splits itself into two. The clay appears to be the pot. The gold turns into the ornament. So when you transact, you have a choice to deal with the ornament or you understand the gold. When you transact, you can deal with the pot and understand the clay. This is light. But what happens? We get carried away by the Nama Rupa. We get carried away by the Nama Rupa Guna Karma. Since we get carried away by the Nama Rupa Guna Karma, what is missed? The essence is missed. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's example. Like thief sees gold everywhere, in and through the ornaments he sees only gold. Beautiful example he gives. In and through the ornaments he sees only gold. The thief is not interested in the Nama Rupa. The thief is interested only in the gold. The gold is real. The chain is superimposed. The gold is real. The chain is superimposed. The pot is real. The clay is real. The pot is superimposed. Brahman is real. Individuality is superimposed. Because of ignorance, the real status is given to the false. The value is not because of the chain. The value is because it is gold. See, same design in iron. Will you be interested? Same design in copper. Will you be interested? Same design in aluminium. Will you be interested? So, though superficially it looks like you are interested in the design and all that, in real, what are you interested? The essence. Yeah. This is what you have to understand. So, even though it looks like we are interested in the Nama Rupa Guna Karma, the real interest is in the original, the real. If the design is what is interesting, yeah. If the design is what is interesting, don't try all this, Srikanth. Don't try it with your wife all this, Nalla design, in the design romba nalla irukudhu Srikanth அப்படின்னா gift her with one aluminum design of the same thing. She will divorce you. Yeah. Because you can't say you wanted that design. No. What is the value there? It's not though it looks like the Nama Rupa is attractive. What is the attraction there? The real. Superimposition means not knowing how to distinguish and understand these two. Able to follow? This is the superimposition. What is the super? Not able to distinguish between these two. Not able to distinguish between the two. Not able to distinguish between these two. The final point in this analysis is this. Both cannot coexist. Both status exist, but both cannot coexist. The status of the rope exists, the status of the rope exists, but both cannot coexist. That is why in the snake you can't see the rope. Don't try that. In the snake you can't see the rope. Why? Because these two are independent statuses and one cannot be used for the other. Through the snake you cannot understand the rope. To understand the rope you need to let go of the snake. Correct? By letting go of the snake you understand the rope, but you cannot understand the rope through the snake. Both statuses do exist, but they cannot coexist. In the Mahabharata, the man Karna has two statuses, Radheya and Kaunteya. Yeah. You know the story Karna, no? Mahabharata story, Karna. He has two statuses. One is the Radheya, the son of Radha. Another is Kaunteya, the son of Kunti. But he, at any given, he cannot be Kaunteya, the son of Kunti, and be Radheya. The Radheya status goes, the Kaunteya status comes. Are you able to follow? Both cannot be held together. Both cannot be held together. The day he realized that, he became free. That the day he realized that he is not the Radheya, he is the Kaunteya. When Krishna told him that you are a Kaunteya, when Kunti came and proved that you are a Kaunteya, you see a different Karna altogether after that. You see him so completely different after that. What does it mean? Both the status cannot. Radheya is one status, Kaunteya is another status. Karna went through those two statuses, but at any given point of time, he cannot be both. Correct? Also, at any given point of time, the Radheya is the superimposition and Kaunteya is the reality. Radheya is the superimposition and Kaunteya is the reality, and how much ever better he was as a Radheya, there is something that was bothering him. The moment he realized that he is a Kaunteya, he became free. இல்லையா? அப்படி கூட புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. இல்லையா? Rope and snake பத்தி முடியல. இல்லையா? So we have to take up some Puranic story, but it's a wonderful character. It's a wonderful character. Not in the way that Karna movie and all is made. Adallam chuma imagination. Nothing happened like that in the story. Not the movie. At any given point of time, the status cannot coexist. So, through Vedanta, we are recognizing our real status. We don't become Brahman, we recognize that I am Brahman. That's what he says. The individuality disappears when its inherent nature is realized. How to explain this? I'm trying to explain this beautiful statement. Jivasya tatvike rupe tasmin drishte nivartate. Nivartate, nivrti, it's gone. It disappears. Nivartate means this, it is extinguished completely. It's extinguished completely, leaving without any traces. It is distinguished completely, exhausted completely. What is it? The individuality disappears when its inherent nature is realized. The false status of Jivatma is superimposed. That's why it's called Adhyasa, superimposition. Radheya is a superimposition upon Kaunteya, and how much ever Radheya was a king, he was a great warrior, he was everything, but that didn't give him peace at all. The moment he realized that he is a Kaunteya, you see him completely different. Though in a very loose way we can say it is transformation, but strictly you understand that it is not a transformation. For Kunti didn't come and adopt him. No. Adoption is transformation. Kunti didn't adopt him. He is not adopted. He is a Kaunteya already. Transformation means a new form, a new place, a new entity that wasn't before. That's called transformation. Spiritual development is not a transformation. Transformation means a new entity bound by the time space. Spiritual evolution is not a transformation, because it is not the Purusha transformed into Sthanav. It is not the human being, it is not the ghost that turned into a post. It's not the ghost that transformed into the post. Are you able to follow? If Brahman is, if moksha or liberation is a transformation, if it is a transformation, we have a fallacy. What is the fallacy of transformation? Transformation means the fallacy of Desha Kala Vastu limitations. Transformation means it has a limitation of Desha Kala, time, place, limitations. But we all want transformation. Vedanta says, don't seek transformation, seek recognition. Seek recognition. Adasa Ranu try pandra name fame madri kidayadu. I'm also trying for recognition as name and fame, not that recognition. Realize. 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 Are you able to follow? Realize. 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 Ghost and post, rope and snake எல்லாம் ரொம்ப கன்ஃபியூசிங்கா இருந்ததுனாக்கா you can use Radheya and Kaunteya. For those who do not know this Mahabharata story in detail, this Radheya Kaunteya will be more complicated than rope and snake. I am giving this example specific in this here because we all know this. We all know this story. It's not that Radheya got transformed into Kaunteya. Kaunteya misunderstood that he is a Radheya. Kaunteya was under the misapprehension that he is a Radheya, and now he has become a Kaunteya. If Jivatma and Paramatma are one and the same, then why give two names? Why give two names? Two names are given because you are seeing one. Two names has to be given because you see one. You see the world. You see the world. Since you are seeing the world, something has to be, it has to be named, and something deeper also has to be told. Two different names given for one entity. You know the tradition in this culture? You know the traditional culture, no? We always give two names. People don't understand why we give two names. That is why when the marriage invitation comes, we really don't know who's getting married. Huh? That is why within the brackets we have to give that name also. Why two names? That's why it is getting very confusing. This I always, why two names to one entity? Because ignorance has got a name, reality has a name. Now there are two things in you. Therefore, two names. So beautiful culture, right? So well thought of. It's not. It's not. Two different names given by Shastra for one entity. What is that one entity? I is that one entity. I is the one entity. For that I, two names are given. What are the two names? Aham Jiva, Aham Brahma. Out of ignorance, you say Aham Jivasmi. Out of knowledge, you will say Aham Brahmasmi. But Aham is one, the I is one, but the names of the I is two. Are you able to follow? The Aham is one, the I is one, but the name given is two. அது ஒரே பேர் கொடுத்து வச்சிருந்தா நிம்மதியா இருக்கும்ல சார். It won't be so confusing, no. Just one name. The South Indians, with this in this state, we don't have surnames, no. We don't have surnames. So our name is, we have a name and we take the father's name as the initials. So we don't call it a surname and all. And especially, and anywhere outside the state you go, you have a huge confusion. They ask, what is your surname? Application form fill up under that, it will be very confusing. Correct? Huh? It will be very confusing even to fill the application form. For they ask surname, you say Ramakrishnan. That's not the, how can that so very confusing? Even the Telugu people, KYC le the auditor and radita. Surname. The surname illiye. So you don't have a surname. Where will we go for the surname? So during my, it was such a funny experience I had. I can never forget that. Before I went to the academy, I have never I have never gone, I have never, to me, Bombay, Maharashtra, Pune, all outside of India. For us, city is, yeah, for us, the whole world is in Mylapore. Everything is, nothing exists out of Mylapore. You go to school to T Nagar, you feel homesick. Huh? Yeah, you feel homesick even if you go to T Nagar to school. Now you will feel homesick. And summer holidays, winter holidays, you go, and only place outside the state is the Sabarimala temple, because that's because of the family deity. That is the only place outside the state. Otherwise, nothing. So first time I went to Bombay is to join the academy, Maharashtra. Before that, I have never gone there, joined. And then I was flying. My first flight experience, I can't forget. The fellow is saying, yeah, the fellow is saying, I am used to people calling me Aravindan. Nobody calls me as Ramakrishnan. If somebody says Ramakrishnan, I will not react. Why? Because that's not me. Why will I react? So I am showing that fellow says, I'm showing my ticket. The fellow says, he's telling me, welcome, Mr. Ramakrishnan. I'm looking this side and that side. Yeah. I thought, where did my father has come in now? Because Ramakrishnan means he, not me. I am, you should say, welcome Aravindan, say. Why are you saying that? The I is associated with Aravindan. When the I is associated with Ramakrishnan, to me it looks like it is somebody else. Are you able to follow? When I was sitting in the flight, I was thinking this. All because of what? The long association. The intrinsic status of a human being is Brahmatvam, Brahman, the self itself, but not seen. Why? Because the person getting carried away by the nama rupa guna karma doesn't see the real. Doesn't see the real. And what is the real? The I is the real. The I is the real. And this I is given two names. You give out of, when you are having the status of ignorance, the I is called. When you are having the status of ignorance, the I is called. What is the I when you are having the status of ignorance? What is the I? What do you associate the I with?
Our experience, the enjoyer.
The body, the mind, the intellect. I means the jiva. The I is connected to the jiva. And that I is real. The jivatvam is the superimposition. Just as the post is real, the ghost is the superimposition. Are you able to understand now? The I is real. The I am jiva. The jiva equals I is the superimposition. Brahman equals I is the real. And both cannot coexist. Also, we have seen this before. What is it? The very fact that something is superimposed means there is a reality behind. For A superimposition can happen only when it is supported by a reality behind, which is called adhishtanam. The snake is the adhyasam, the rope is the adhishtanam. The snake is the superimposition, the rope is the adhishtanam, the reality. Why are we superimposing? Why are we superimposing? I started with that answer. Why are we superimposing? We started the session with this answer. That superimposition is because of Bhranti. That superimposition is because of Bhranti, Brahma. That superimposition is because of Bhranti, Brahma. And for superimposition, solution is knowledge. For superimposition, solution comes only from knowledge. So the whole difficulty in this entire exercise is what? To understand this as a superimposition. The entire difficulty in the entire exercise is the first stage of knowledge. What is the first stage of knowledge? To get the understanding that it is superimposition. It is superimposition. And they go through so many logic and reason and examples. The harmless stump creates the fear of the ghost. Sthano Purushavad Bhrantya. What does Bhranti does? What does Bhranti do? The harmless rope creates the snake that frightens you. The harmless rope is misunderstood as the snake, and that snake threatens you, frightens you. The world threatens you. The world frightens you. The world is a source of tremendous agony, worry, anxiety, stress, strain. In and through all that, there is a hope of. In and through all that, there is a hope of. One day everything will be all right, no, sir? Aparna, is it okay? Huh? One day everything will be all right, no, sir? That one day is now. What is that now? Superimposition. It is a superimposition. The harmless stump becomes the source of fear. The harmless stump, the sthanu. Sthanu means the harmless stump, the post, creates the fear of the thief or the fear of the ghost. Either it can create the fear of the ghost or it can create the fear of the thief, as though the thief is standing there holding knife in his hand and saying, come, come, come. You have that? It causes that fear. Are you able to follow? What drives away the thief? What drives away the ghost? Jnanam, knowledge. What is the knowledge? The source of worry, pain, anxiety, insecurity, all this will be there as long as I say I am the Jiva. As long as I associate the I with Jiva, that jiva will necessarily go through all these 5 and you will not have freedom from these. If you want freedom from these, associate it rightly. Associate it rightly. What is the right association? Sthanau Purushavad Brantya. That knowledge removes the Branti. Branti means Brahma. People say hearing voices. What voice you hear? You will never hear the voice of the Shankaracharya, no? What voice you will hear? Huh? What voice you will hear? That the voice that fear has created. The voice that fear creates. That only you will hear. You will not hear the flute. You will not hear the flute of Krishna. You will not hear that. What will you hear? The shivering, the worry, the anxiety, the stress, the strain. All this is what I hear, and what I should liberate myself from. I should liberate myself from Radeya to Kaunteya. As long as Karna believed that he is a Radeya, he was suffering. Even though he was made a king, even though he had an extraordinary skill, even though he had everything, he was still suffering. The moment he realized that he is a Kaunteya, what happened? He became so completely different. Not that he became completely different. We say he became different from the standpoint of Radeya only. But who is he from the beginning? Who was he from the beginning? Who was he from the beginning? He was the Kaunteya only. Upanishadic example of the beggar who didn't know that he was a king, and now he recognized that he is the king. Having recognized that he is the king, how he will beg? Having recognized that he is the king, how he will beg? If you remember, I gave this example long back. You know this, Michael Jackson's concerts. Do you know 50 ambulances will be stationed in his concert? Does anybody know that? Before he starts the concerts, not only mic and speaker and all that, 50 ambulances also will come. Why? Because people go hysterical and they faint and they will be carried they go into a frenzy and they will be carried away. Michael Jackson doesn't faint, no? Why? Why he doesn't faint? The audiences are fainting, but he is not fainting. Why? Why he doesn't faint? Because he knows that he's an entertainer. He is worried about the steps. He knows how many times he has done the rehearsals, how many times he has practiced. He's irritated about the guy at the back made a wrong note. The audience will not know any of that. Are you able to follow? He remembers the true identity. He doesn't need an ambulance. The audiences get so carried away, they need an ambulance. They need an ambulance. Branti. Why? the audiences go into the frenzy, the bhranti, the delusion, they go. Yeah. Sometimes unga class lo kuda apdi dasa raarudhu. Yeah. We also get into that. High. I feel like floating somewhere. Naanga ambulance la vekka maatom. Don't worry. For immediately we know how to bring you out of that. Yeah. Michael Jackson doesn't know how to bring you out of that frenzy. We know how to bring you out of the frenzy immediately. How does Krishna brings the person out of the frenzy? The moment he say Mooda Mate, the moment he say Pramudatma, the moment he say Moodatma, the moment he says Vimudatma, all the frenzy goes away. Yeah. Let me come back to, are able to follow Brahma? Otherwise, how to explain the word Brahma? And the entire Vedanta is revolving around that word Brahma, delusion, superimposition. And since he used the word Bhrantya here directly, we just indulged in little bit of detailed explanation of that. Sthano Purushavad Bhrantya Krita Brahmani Jivata Jivasya Tatvike Rupe Tasmin Drishte Nivartate. When the individuality disappears, when its inherent nature is realized. The beauty of that whole statement is, he is not talking about a transformation, he is talking about a realization of that which is present. The inherent individuality disappears when its inherent nature is realized. With this, we conclude verse number 45. Next session, we continue with verse number 46 onwards. ஏதாவது questions இருக்கா வெங்கட்? ஒன்றும் இல்லைன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
இல்ல, no questions.
No questions. Yeah, no questions. There is no questions. Yeah. Yes. With this, we conclude for today, and we continue from verse number 46 onwards next session.